Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. In this session, we'll be discussing from the 16th and the 17th verses of the 11th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nishamya Preshtham Ayantam Vasudevo Mahamanaha Akruraschograsena Ramascha Adbhuta Vikramaha Pradyumnascharudeshnascha Sambo Jambavati Sutaha Praharsha Vego Chashita Shayana Asana Bhojanaha. The meaning of these two verses given together here. On hearing that the most dear Krishna was approaching Dwaraka Dhama, magnanimous Vasudeva, Akrura, Ugrasena, Balaram, the superhumanly powerful, Pradyumna, Charudeshna, and Samba, the son of Jambavati, all extremely happy, abandoned, resting, sitting, and dining. So here is a description of the most intimate family members of Krishna, Krishna's father Vasudeva, Akrura, Ugrasena, his grandfather, Balaram, his brother, Pradyumna, his son, Charudeshna, Samba, all sons of Krishna. They were extremely happy to hear that Krishna is coming back to Dwarka Dhama, returning to Dwarka Dhama. So they completely abandoned whatever they were doing, whether they were resting or sitting or dining, they just gave up and went to receive Krishna. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives a brief description of each of these personalities. First of all, he describes the personality of Vasudeva. Now, all these personalities actually are participating in Krishna Leela in certain roles, but actually in the spiritual world, their actual position may be different in some cases. So here it's described Vasudeva was the son of King Shurasena. Shurasena was ruling king of the district of Shurasena, and his son was Vasudeva. Krishna appeared as the son of Vasudeva. And husband of Devaki, Vasudeva married Devaki, and Devaki was the mother of Krishna. Krishna appeared from the womb of Devaki. And of course, Vasudeva is described as the father of Lord Sri Krishna. Vasudeva is also the brother of Kunti. Kunti is the mother of the Pandavas. So, Kunti's brother is Vasudeva, and Vasudeva is also the father of Subhadra. Vasudeva and Devaki had 8 sons and 1 daughter. That one daughter was Subhadra. Krishna appeared as was born as the 8th son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Balaram actually was the 7th son of Vasudeva and Devaki, but he was transferred to the womb of Rohini by Krishna's own arrangement for his Leela, for his pastimes. Then further, Srila Prabhupada says, Subhadra was married with her cousin Arjuna, because Subhadra and Arjuna are daughter and son of Vasudeva and Kunti, who are brother and sister. So therefore, Subhadra and Arjuna are cousins. But Srila Prabhupada says such marriage was permitted. And this system is still prevalent in some parts of India, even today. Vasudeva was appointed minister of Ugrasena, and later on he married 8 daughters of Ugrasena's brother Devaka. Ugrasena's brother Devaka had 8 daughters. Devaki was one of them. So Vasudeva not only married Devaki, but he also married the other 7 sisters of Devaki. So all the 8 daughters of Devaka, Ugrasena's brother, were married by Vasudeva. Kamsa was his brother-in-law. That means Kamsa, as the son of Ugrasena, was the brother-in-law of Vasudeva. Vasudeva accepted voluntary imprisonment by Kamsa on mutual agreement to deliver the 8th son of Devaki. This is described in the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, that before Krishna's appearance, there was a prophecy that the 8th son of Devaki would be the cause of death of Kamsa. So Kamsa immediately arrested. He was about to kill Devaki, but Vasudeva somehow convinced Kamsa not to kill Devaki on the promise that every child born of Devaki he would hand over to Kamsa. So Kamsa, in order to ensure that every child that is born would be handed over to him, he imprisoned Vasudeva and Devaki. Now this Kamsa, cruel Kamsa, killed the first 6 sons born of Devaki and Vasudeva, Shatgarbha. And when Devaki became pregnant for the 7th time, then that child was transferred by arrangement of Yogamaya, by Krishna's arrangement through Yogamaya. The 7th son of Devaki and Vasudeva was transferred to Rohini's womb, from Devaki's womb. That was Balaram. And Kamsa thought the 7th pregnancy was a miscarriage. The child died in the womb. That's what Kamsa thought. And then Krishna appeared as the 8th son in the womb of Devaki. But when Devaki was pregnant for the 8th time, Kamsa was just waiting. Now this child is going to take birth. I must kill this child as soon as it's born. But Kamsa could not actually lay his hands on the child, 8th child, which is born of the womb of Devaki. Krishna appeared middle of the night. By potency of Yogamaya, Kamsa and all the doorkeepers and the prison keepers were all asleep under the influence of Yogamaya. And that is when Vasudeva and Devaki offered wonderful praise to Krishna when Krishna appeared. And because they were anxious to protect Krishna, Krishna instructed Vasudeva to transfer him from the prison of Kamsa to the house of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, from Mathura to Gokula. And that's what Vasudeva did in the middle of the night. And while all this was happening, Kamsa is fast asleep and all his doorkeepers are also asleep. So this is called Krishna Leela actually. It's Krishna's pastime. His appearance, His activities are all divine. And how to understand these activities as divine is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam in great detail. We should not speculate, or we should not give our own interpretation. No, we should hear from the scriptures the divine nature of all of Krishna's activities. Then further, it is described Vasudeva as the maternal uncle of the Pandavas. That means Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, their mother's brother, maternal uncle, is Vasudeva. So as maternal uncle of Pandavas, he took active part in purificatory processes of the Pandavas, samskaras. When Krishna appeared within the bars of Kamsa's prison house, Krishna was transferred by Vasudeva to the house of Nandamara. That's what I explained in detail. Krishna disappeared along with Baladeva prior to the disappearance of Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna took charge of funeral ceremony after Vasudeva's disappearance. These are all pastimes of Krishna and his devotees, intimate devotees. They are also under the protection of Yogamaya. Next, the description is given about Akrura. Akrura was a great devotee of Krishna. He is famous for having attained success in devotional service by one single process of offering prayers, Vandanam, of the 9 different processes of bhakti. Akrura is famous for perfecting his devotional service simply by offering wonderful prayers. His prayers are given in the Bhagavatam in the 10th canto. Prayers by Akrura to offer to Lord Krishna. Beautiful prayers are given. He glorifies Krishna as the one supreme Lord who appears in so many different incarnations. And he has sung a song which is not only describing the 10 incarnations but describes more than 10, about 20 incarnations he describes, including the 10 famous Dashavatara incarnations of Krishna. So Akrura is famous for having offered wonderful prayers to Krishna and perfected his devotional service. Bhakti is so nice. Simply by hearing about Krishna, simply by singing Krishna's glory, simply by offering prayers to Krishna, or simply by remembering Krishna's pastimes, one can achieve all perfection, complete self-realization and ultimate liberation. That is the power of bhakti. So Akrura is described as the commander-in-chief of the Vrishni dynasty. He was also a Kshatriya. But most importantly, Akrura is a great devotee of Lord Krishna. He was the husband of Sutani, who was the daughter of Ahuka. Ahuka is another name for Ugrasena. So Ugrasena is the father-in-law of Akrura. Akrura married daughter of Ugrasena. Now Akrura supported Arjuna when Arjuna took Subhadra forcibly away by the will of Krishna. Subhadra is Krishna's sister. Now Krishna wanted to marry his sister to Arjuna, but Balaram wanted to marry his sister to Duryodhana. So Krishna arranged that before Balaram could fix that marriage, Arjuna kidnapped Subhadra, and Krishna and Akrura actually went and met Arjuna after the kidnapping. So both of them presented dowries to Arjuna after this incident because there was no proper marriage like that. Then Akrura was also present when Abhimanyu, the son of Subhadra, was married with Uttara, the mother of Maharaj Parikshit. So that is the description of Akrura. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.